So firstly, as Stu was saying, I'd like to basically thank everyone for turning out. As I said, everyone's travelled from all over the country really to be with us, and I know it takes a lot of time to come out your day and eat some free food and drink some free alcohol. So appreciate you for turning up for that. I wanted to just explain, really, take the time to explain the names of the tables that you're sitting on, because as the keen-eyed amongst you may have noticed, they are all place names, and some of them more creatively named than others. And I just wanted to explain to you why those places sort of meant something to Siouxsie and I. But I have written it in the wrong order for this room, so you'll have to talk with yourself when I get the right order. So, do it wrong. Okay. I'll do it wrong. So I'll start in the middle then. Siouxsie on Hawkswell, Siouxsie is a town that my grandparents, granny-granddad sitting at the table, lived in for 10 years from about 2003, and was one of the first holidays that Siouxsie and I went on together, was to visit the two of you in your house there. I do have a little bit of a confession to make though, in that when we stayed with you the first time, we were given separate bedrooms. The first night there was a thunderstorm, so I, being the caring and empathetic guy that I am, went to check Siouxsie was alright in her bedroom. And then there weren't any more thunderstorms, but I did check every other night that she was alright. I just like to apologise. So sitting at the table is my dad's family, and so a lot of people say that I'm quite like my dad, so essentially what I'm trying to say is it's these guys' fault if you have any problem with me. It's their influence on my dad and his influence on me, so it's not my fault. I'd also like to obviously mention my sister Rachel. If you, as Stu said, I've been with Siouxsie for 12 years now. If you feel a bit sorry for Siouxsie, Rachel has had me my entire life. So 28 years she's known me, and even though I haven't and will never forgive you for throwing my sock out the window in a moving car, I would like to thank you for all your help in making today possible. There are some gifts that we have, but I've been told to do them a bit later on in the speech, so we'll do that later. We'll come back to that. Yeah. I need the sock, not her. I'll read it again. Over here we have Santa Monica. So Santa Monica is the end destination, the end city on Route 66, which was Siouxsie and I's real first grand holiday together, without either of our parents, without tagging along on either of our parents' holidays. And really, the reason it's so special to us is it marked an ability to spend 2 weeks together without having to go to work or being able to play FIFA or anything like that. That we actually had to talk to each other and be in each other's company constantly for 2 weeks. So it's really a mark of how we've achieved not killing each other for the first time. We have a lot of Siouxsie's family sitting on the table, including Siouxsie's future brother-in-law, Danny. I don't know if they might not announce that yet, so act surprised when they do. And the reason I mentioned Danny is because there's a couple of years, last year actually, when we went out for Siouxsie's birthday, or Josie's birthday, Danny was very keen for us to finish the meal early so we could get back and watch Frozen, which we were a little dubious about, because he said he taped it off the TV and it had only sort of just come out. So we were keen to get back and watch it. And when we got back to their house, we realised it wasn't the Disney Frozen. It was, in fact, I'm going to read an IMDb description. The 2010 thriller describing 3 skiers stranded on a chairlift having to make life or death choices which proved more perilous than staying put or freezing to death. The songs were still pretty good in it, though. And then also on the table with Danny is Siouxsie's sister Josie and brother William. And although my sister's had to put up with me for my entire life, she did have 18 months, 2 years, Chris-free world before I entered. So for these two, with Siouxsie being the oldest, they literally don't know a world in which she doesn't exist. So, and again, for Josie as well, a lot of the decorations that you see around you, the wonderful flowers, we've been helped out by a lot of people, a lot of the bridesmaids and our other friends. So thanks again for doing that, and also putting up with Siouxsie for the last 18 months trying to prepare stuff. See, I put it wrong again. Far side is the Mugan table. So Mugan is a small village in France where we've been on holiday with my parents and both sets of my grandparents, and had a meal out there together, which we really enjoyed. So I wanted to basically mark that occasion. It was a holiday that was a really nice holiday, and then we came home early to David Nicole's wedding. And just as really an example, there was a lovely, by me saying this, you might know where the story's going. There was a nice cat at the villa, the owner's cat that was at the villa. And we come home, and just really, the real reason I'm telling the story is to show you what a compassionate, again, Mum said it's not my fault, I get it from my dad, what a compassionate kind of guy he is, that while we were attending their wedding, I just simply got a text that said, Leo est mort. So in the 2 days we've been away, they managed to kill the cat. As a part of that story. So that's a good, funny story, isn't it? Dead cat. Speaking of, Cyril Black's dead, if anyone didn't. That was my link. So sitting at the table, we have my mother's side of the family, and if you couldn't guess by them having the biggest table here, they're Irish. And the only thing I want to say is, Susan, if it does get a bit exciting, there are some spare leggings under your chair, if it all gets a bit much for you. Yeah. Sitting on the table here, the Paris table, so hopefully most people have heard of Paris. It's a city that Siouxsie and I have been to quite a lot in our time. We walked a lot around, we spent a lot of time on our first few holidays there as well, over the years basically. The first time we went, actually, we bought some lamb's brains from a supermarket, thinking we'll be adventurous to eat that, and then we just actually left them in the hotel after. Couldn't plug up the courage to eat cook and eat the lamb's brains. But sitting on the table, we've got Siouxsie's family, and actually a few members of the people sitting on this table have taught Siouxsie a few things over the years, and I would say some more successfully than others on my experience. For example, according to Siouxsie, her auntie Loretta, who you all heard speak of the blessing earlier, taught her how to cartwheel, which is a skill she's still very proud of today, and something you can all look forward to in the first dance. So seemingly well taught in that occasion. We also have her Nana Joyce sitting at the table, who Siouxsie tells me you taught her to bake over the years, but judging by Siouxsie's ability to bake, I would say you taught her to eat cake more than cook it. At the back, I can't read that far. Yes, at the back over there, we've got the Yorkshire table. So Yorkshire is, as you'll all know now, basically the home for Siouxsie and I. And it really has its pros and cons. On the plus side, it's a beautiful place to live. It's really nice scenery, as you can see. On the negative side, sometimes I literally can't understand a word anyone's saying. I mean, I have been called a cock a lot of times in my life, but never in an endearing term until I moved to Yorkshire. And sitting on the table, we've got some of my friends from university, or I guess more accurately, my friends from Football Manager, which I think we clocked up the hours and we did spend more time playing that at university, which is why we're all in careers to do with our degrees, isn't it? And also some friends from work. And really the only thing I want to say to that table is, I'm sorry you have to sit on Sammy's table. Next to that, maybe next to it, somewhere else, we've got the garage. The garage is over there. It is next to it. So the garage is essentially a reference to the garage that was at our house in Leicester, where we spent a lot of time as youths playing games. studying the Bible, all those things that kids do. Yes, no, we didn't do that, Stu. No, neither of them. It wasn't me. We also had, I think we had the first scam band practice in the garage there. So there's around the room there are members of the band that we set up when we were younger, and we had the first practice there. So it's meant a lot to us over the years, really. Sitting at the table, we've got quite a group of different people from friends back from Leicester and some of Siouxsie's work friends. Actually, the interesting thing about the table is that there are 4 nurses on that table that deal with both mental and physical ailments. So if at any point in the night anyone has any issues, that's the table to see. And some of you have been positioned there on purpose. And then over on this side, the place, and we haven't run out of places and said we'll just call it a place. That is actually a place to us, the place, which is essentially a field near an old abandoned railway track near where we lived, and we used to hang out a lot and do those things that I was talking about before that are really wholesome. There's a lot of stories about the people sat at that table that would take a long time to tell, really from Ian insulting Tom's mum New Year's Eve morning, when she was just trying to wish him New Year's. And Ben sitting over there played bass in the first ever gig I played, supporting another band, and Robert sitting next to him actually played bass. Was it fully naked or he had a thumb on? Thumb, yeah. So he had a thumb on when we played bass at a school. I actually. You wouldn't get away with that post-Savile, would you? Told you I mentioned Jimmy Savile. We've also got Firenze. Is that the last table? Probably. Oh no, there's another one, Groom. Which is Florence. It's the Italian name for Florence. The reason we put it as Firenze is because it's quite a passion of mine. I know Dad and I have had discussions about this. I don't think we should change the name of cities of other countries. That's what they call it. Let's just call it that. This isn't a funny bit. I'm just trying to get across to you that we should all think that about places. Stop changing the name if they call it something else. I told you it wasn't a funny bit. It's just a... So again, we have a broad range of friends sitting at the table. Pikey, as I was mentioning. Pikey's called Pikey because of his name, not because he's spent years travelling. Although I do think you have grown into your name. So he was in the original band, and I've known him since I was 4, up to friends from university, Matt and Jenny, and people that I now work with. And there's a line in here about my boss, Jim, who hasn't actually turned up today. So the line is now, and Jim, who's a dickhead. Don't tell him I said that. No, please don't mention it. Didn't want to come back to it. And the last table, well, apart from this table, the last table was Bruges. Again, somewhere that Siouxsie and I have been on to many weekends away together. Climbed the bell tower one year. That was a good idea, wasn't it? It turned into more of a crawl than a climb when we got to the top of it. Siouxsie also tried the local delicacy of eel while we were there, showed her adventurous side, and then immediately showed her gregarious side once she tasted it by offering me the rest. And again, sitting at the table, quite a broad group of friends. We've got Nicole's husband, Dave, and Tom's wife-to-be, Claire. Sorry again, I've done it again. Sorry, Alex. Who actually look like they're having a lot more fun without you guys than with you. And again, as I was saying before, Claire's been key in helping us set up some of these flowers, as well as helping with all the printing and some last-minute checks and changes yesterday. So thanks for your help with that, and also your help, because I'm sure you have to put up with Tom moaning about me asking him to do stuff all the time as well. And also we've got Ricky sitting at the table. So Ricky was one of our ushers, my only usher, I guess. That's how it works. Best man and usher, yeah. He was usher. He is usher. I'll start again. Ricky, who's usher. And there is a lot of stories about Ricky, but I'm actually being Ricky's best man in May next year. So So I thought all those embarrassing stories would be better told in front of his family, rather than in front of strangers who wouldn't really care that much. I thought that would be better for it. So finally, that's what you're saying, I said that. Finally, we come to Chicago. That's our table here. So on the table, we have Siouxsie's maid of honour, Nicole. I asked Siouxsie if there was anything specific she wanted me to mention about Nicole. And she said, tell everyone she's naked all the time. That's the one fact. That's the one fact she wanted everyone to know. Nicole's naked all the time. So as a lesson to everyone, this is what happens to you when you're naked all the time. But again, I do want to thank you all for all your help with Siouxsie. I think the biggest frustration for you hasn't been as much, for you and Josie and everyone involved, hasn't been as much Siouxsie wanting to do lots of things. It's Siouxsie wanting to do nothing that she's supposed to do. Nothing traditional in terms of a wedding at all. Well, fair play. She's got on. Then we also have Siouxsie's parents, Julie and Stu, who obviously Stu gave us a fantastic speech before, which we all hope it continued rather than me coming on and talking. So it goes without saying that you've done a great job raising a intelligent, beautiful daughter, and thanks for looking after Siouxsie as well.
Ding.
This is what I'm supposed to do, isn't it? This is what it was. But I do want to thank you for your support, preparation of the day, and not just today, but for the last 12 years. You have, as you said, welcomed me with open arms into the family since day one, and I mean literally open arms. I don't think I've got away once without getting a hug at all. We also have my parents, whose names are Mum and Dad. Obviously, I want to thank you. It goes without saying, I want to thank you for everything you've done for me in my whole life. But more importantly, I think everyone else wants to thank you for bringing me. I do have a quote. I have made the world a brighter and better place to be in. That is a quote from me, but it's a quote nonetheless. So thanks for all everything you've done. And again, it's their fault is the key point to take away from this. So Chicago is a special place to Siouxsie and I. Even though we've only visited it twice, it is a place where I proposed to Siouxsie 18 months ago, 19 months ago, something like that. The trip started off with us having some lunch, as we do every time in America, and eating too much food. So we had to go we walked literally 150 yards and had to have a lie down on some grass. And when I say that, I don't mean like in a park or anything, I mean like a little bit of grass next to a path somewhere that lots of tourists are walking past and looking at us very ugly. And that was what he'll be doing again, yeah, he will eat too much. I proposed to Siouxsie kneeling on a glass ledge 108 floors up in the air. So as you can tell, it was a nerve-wracking experience. So when I asked the question, Siouxsie, what was your response to the question? That's not what your response was, it? It was, is this a joke? And I do quite like a long joke, for those who know me, I do like a long joke. But that would have been the most elaborate and expensive joke I'd ever told. Until now! Seriously though, this is a silly question. I mean, that's funny. The only reason I was nervous on the ledge was because it wasn't because of the sense of certain death when I looked down. It wasn't because I was asking you to marry me. It was just because I was a bit drunk and I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get back in the lift without falling over. But as I say, I wasn't nervous about actually asking you to marry me. It was probably the thing I was most sure of in my life, I think. They say that was a good joke, that deserved more than that. They say that love is blind, and I can see I'm going blind. Half of you will not get this next section. Some people call me a clown, and some traits of my personality make me bad, but you make me good. You make me somebody, someone. I love the way some of your responses are so predictable, and even though I know they're not coming, I enjoy them all the same. I love that you're never fake, you never tell lies except for when you break stuff. I've got something to tell you later, right? When I look at you, and you look so pretty, so divine, I know I've got the life, and I'm here to stay. Free combination. Yeah, I probably should have said something. So we're going to take this opportunity to just hand a few gifts out. We've only got a few. So Ricky, this is your bit, remember, we need to really entertain you for a second. Don't stop. I'm going to get the gifts. Keep doing it.
It's a Terry's chocolate orange. Not Terry's. Chocolate orange?
We also have gifts for mothers and fathers. So, have we done gifts? You doing? Are we opening it now? Oh, God. It's nice weather, isn't it?
It's probably been the full behind it.
You don't have to announce what it is. So, do you want the football tickets or the spa voucher? So, that's basically that. I'm going to hand over to Tom now. So, like, it's actually a sincere thanks to everyone for coming. It's making the day a great day and will continue to be, as long as some of you make sure to taper it back a bit in the evening a little bit. So, sitting on the end there,
good luck,
looking like a cut price Top Shop model, is Tom Sully. And I really, oh, that's the bit of change. That's the bit of change. She said Chop Shop's better. So I really want to say thank you for all your hard work you put together making this day so special. Tom helped out with basically all the design and printing of all the stationery you see around you, so table names and place names, and the wonderful seating plan outside was all Tom and Claire's handiwork. So I really want to say thank you for that. I know it's difficult to take time out of your busy day putting glitter on cards and selling Clintons. I guess I should also thank you for making my stag so memorable. I guess the best way to look at it for me is it could have gone worse. It could have gone worse. I got the full deposit back, which is ridiculous.
Happy stag.
I remember some of it. Yeah, even if I did come away from it feeling like I'd been hit in the face with a brick.
Washing up, Bob.
I've known Tom since I was 4 years old. We hit the heights of fame together when we were 10 or 11, and we played the Ugly Sisters in the school panto. Stole the show as the Ugly Sisters in the school panto. Since then, we got signed up for a national touring production of Oliver, where Tom and I played Oliver on different days, and that's really where things started to get downhill for Tom. Because his reviews didn't quite match up to mine, hit the bottle at an early age, and that really spiralled into 10 years of debauchery, drugs and alcohol, which landed Tom in jail for 3 years for card fraud, yeah it was. When he came out, I was there waiting for him to basically help him back into the world, and I've created the man you see before you today, really. I think the point I'm trying to make is people tell lies. So, with that in mind, I'd like to hand over to Tom.